Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from DC Direct, we have the Superman and Batman collector set. This includes two action figures, Superman and Batman, and it also included the Public Enemy's graphic novel. And as you'll notice, the graphic novel is not inside of the box. Because I bought this secondhand. This was a used set that I recently purchased. For whatever reason, the previous owner decided to keep the graphic novel and sell off the action figures, but I'm cool with that. I have the actual miniseries in actual comic book form somewhere in my house. Alright, so this 2-pack is pretty old. I want to say it came out in the early to mid 2000s, I think. If you're familiar with the story, it's the Superman Batman comic book written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by Ed McGuinness. This was the Public Enemy's graphic novel, and I think the Public Enemy's story was even something they adapted later on in animation that was available, I think, on DVD and Blu-ray. But today we're going to check out the action figures. So I think originally this thing was priced at $29.99 because the price tag was still on here. It's a cool looking box set. So the stuff made by DC Direct predates DC Collectibles. So that's why I kind of date this maybe in the early 2000s. DC Direct was DC's own line of action figures that they made available to the direct market. And when I say direct market, that means like, the specialty stores, the comic book shops. This is something you'd probably find like at a Tower Records. God bless Tower Records soul. I used to love that place. So let's get started. Cool package, very, straight to the point. You get this beautiful window. You get both figures, and in the back, you would have seen the graphic novel, but like I said, the previous owner took it out. There's a display base on each side, one for each action figure. The side of the box, nice photograph of Superman, and on the opposite end we have Batman. We saw this earlier. The contents, there's the two figures, and there used to be the graphic novel. This was a cool story. It was written by Jeff Loeb, penciled by Ed McGuinness, and I want to say it might have been inked by, I think, Dexter Vines. Really cool. I always loved the Superman Batman logo, especially when they kind of merged the two together. And let's take this out. As you can see, the seal's been broken. Alright, let's see if I can see. I'm kind of contemplating maybe just buying another graphic novel and just replacing it in here if I decide to keep the package. I'm not sure yet. It's kind of beat up, but I do like the box. I think it's kind of a cool design. And here are the figures. As I pointed out earlier, you have two display bases, one on each side. I think it would have been cool if they had one in red and black and one in blue and black. Because, the blue and black color scheme, that's really Batman. It'd be nice if they had a red one to correspond with Superman over here. Alright, so we have a pair of pretty cool looking figures. As you can see, they are very, very stylized. This is to reflect how they appeared in the comic book, and that was illustrated by Ed McGuinness. Ed McGuinness, I think he's a self-proclaimed video game fan, and I think he was really influenced by stuff like Street Fighter and like the the designs of like those characters, especially coming out of anything out of Capcom. So these have a very stylized look to them. The proportions are kind of wonky. His characters always kind of had like squinting looking eyes, much like this one. He almost resembles the Seinfeld character Putty. And then here's the Batman. Also equally just as stylized. You know, they have the very large square jaw. As you can see, the articulation on these figures is very basic. It's not like a McFarlane figure that's, you know, put out today. Right, so let's examine these figures one at a time. First off, let's start with Superman. Big Blue. Everyone loves Superman. Let's try to get him in focus. There you go. Beautiful looking figure. I love the attention to detail in the hair, how they kind of added blue highlights against the black. I love the face too. The head sculpt, it's very reminiscent of like the classic animated Superman. And when I say classic, I mean if you ever seen, I think it's the Max Fleischer animated Supermans, you know, this head kind of resembles that. It's Superman's classic costume, as you can see here. It's not any of the modern takes. This is for me, the much more evergreen design. You know, with the open shoulders and neck, the classic logo on the back, the shorter cape. If you're kind of like a Superman historian, you'll know that the earlier versions and more iconic versions, Superman has the shorter cape. This one does not have the emblem on the back. It's a nice shade of blue, same with the yellow and the red. The sculpting is really crisp. As you can see, the musculature, especially around the abdomen, is very well defined. And Superman never misses leg day. I mean, just check out those legs. He has the big feet. The figure's height stands in at about a little under 6 3/4. For a size comparison against a McFarlane figure, here's the McFarlane designed Batman. As you can see, much smaller figure when compared to the McFarlane stuff. Love the shade of blue. I can't stress that enough. It looks really well done. Even though the cape is, you know, a little bit shorter than what I'm used to, I still think it's a cool look. The figure's proportions, it almost kind of reminds me of like He-Man also. You know, the Masters of the Universe figures. It's really well done. Excellent figure. Well executed. I love the face, especially the hair. It's really well done. The cape's a nice material. And then here's his display base. And the figure should stand pretty well, I'm guessing. Yeah, so that's the completed look with the figure on its stand. I can't get it in straight this way. There you go. So there's the figure. Looks really cool. And that is Superman. Right, so up next we have the Dark Detective himself. We have Batman. Again, beautiful looking figure. Designed to reflect the art style of artist Ed McGuinness. Ed McGuinness is a big video game fan, or at least he was. I'm not sure about nowadays, but I remember reading some interviews with him. He talked about his love of like video games like Street Fighter. And, you know, it's like I said, you know, his character designs, you can kind of see that influence if you're familiar with some of the designs in the Capcom fighting games. Now, the articulation on these guys, too, we'll go over that in a second, but they're not very articulated. You know, the heads just kind of rotate. The arms, I'm not sure to what extent these things can move. It seems like they move out, and then they can rotate up. These are very tight joints. Whoever owned these figures previously, you could tell he didn't really mess around with them. They feel like practically brand new. Single pinned elbows, single pinned knees. Superman's articulation is much the same. As you can see around the crotchal area, the articulation's very basic. You know, it just kicks up, knees bend. There is no waist swivel, and his arms don't want to go down. You know, this guy seems like his delts and kind of get in the way, so he's not gonna like fold his arms down. Here's his display base. Man, he looks pretty cool on it also. I can't stress this enough. I say this all the time with these older DC figures. These aren't really meant to be played with or even posed. They're kind of like miniature statues that just happen to have articulation. These are really much more display pieces than anything else. And they look fantastic. Let's get them into focus. If they want to focus. They don't want to focus together. Let's do them individually. Yeah, so there's Superman. He looks great. And here's the Dark Detective, Batman. He looks awesome also. So I'm unsure of what these figures go for on the secondary market. I got this cheap because I'm special. Actually, the shop I got it at had these on sale. So I picked them up for, I think, maybe like $25 for the set, which I didn't think was bad. You know, just because I'm also very fond of this era of comic books. And I do like the very stylized, like more cartoony looking designs. That looks really awesome. And one last look at Superman. Let's do that. His articulation is the same also. Wow, God, these are stiff. The articulation on these figures is really tight, the joints. Yeah, so whoever owned these figures previously, you could tell he didn't really play or pose these all that much, because these feel like practically brand new. And these figures are, at least, if I had to guess, anywhere between 12 to 15 years old. And Superman does not want to focus. Why don't you want to focus? There you go. Yeah, there's something about this guy. He doesn't like the camera that much, but Batman does. Batman likes to be in focus. Yeah, so it's a great set. If these older style of figures interest you, you know, go hunting around on eBay. Don't pay an arm and a leg for them, though. I think, you know, as great as I think these figures are, I don't think they're worth more than $30 for the set. At least in my opinion. You know, if you can find the figures loose individually for at least, you know, $15, that's a steal. But yeah, they're awesome. I dig this a lot. Alright, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.